Hey, YouTube watchers, YouTube creators. This is Wally with Supreme Gecko and Nanette. This is collab number 3. I'm very excited about this one because as we talk about doing videos, as we talk about improving our channel, we're talking about very, very high level. And today's session is how to get the click. What does that mean? What it means is, and I'll share this example. I'm a painter. I'm not a painter. I'm a terrible painter. And that's saying yes. What it means is I paint a landscape and it looks just unbelievably beautiful. I'm going to take that canvas and I'm going to hang it up in our den. Nobody has dens anymore, do they? What's the better family room or our living room, or as Crystal says, our talking room. I put it up in our talking room and watch it for 2 or 3 hours. Nobody's looking at it. I'm looking at it. Nobody else is. Another couple of hours. Nobody is looking at it. What the heck is going on? Well, that's because I'm kind of hiding it somewhere and I'm not putting it out there for other people to see. Am I making the right painting for people to actually want to take a look at? Is it something that is shareable? I've got it in my family room. Why would I expect people to look at this beautiful painting as great as it is? Look at it in my family room. I might have your sisters or some friends come over and say, yeah, that looks really good. Now I've had 6 people look at it, but that's about it. So there's got to be a way that we can get people to look at our work. We take hours and hours and hours. Some of us take hours and hours and hours to put into our videos, and they go nowhere. They get 10, 20, 30 views. There's got to be a way to get people to start watching our videos, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I see Colleen is looking to join the chat, but I don't see you on camera yet. So I'm going to wait for you to get your camera rolling, Colleen, and then I'll bring you into the chat. While we do that, and Tim isn't joining the chat, I wonder if we have some issues here. I'm making you fall asleep?
No.
Okay. If
Not
you,
yet.
Colleen and Tim, if everything looks good on your end, let me know, and we'll see if we can fix a couple of things. I posted the link to join the chat. If you want to join, please use that link. That's the behind the scenes, and you can join right into the chat without going through YouTube, obviously.
Hand pink waving? What does that mean?
What's that? Hand
pink waving.
Hello, hand pink waving.
I'm
not sure what that is. This is really an informal session, folks. There's going to be a ton of information. We're going to wind up and we're going to deliver the group. Hopefully there's going to be a group here. Intrepid, I don't see your camera. I'm going to go ahead and add you here, but as you can see, I don't see your camera. I might have to exit out and come back in, but I don't want to do that just yet, unless Colleen's having the same issue. Colleen, let me know. So we're going to wind up here and we're going to share a lot of information. I wanted to mention that Juan says he can't because of the kids. I can understand that. We get the same issue sometimes. I wanted to share real quick that I've created, but it's ours, a Facebook group called the Collab, YouTube Creators Collab for Reptile and Invertebrate keepers. Oh, Intrepid, I saw you jump in and then you jumped out. So this page has the event. Yeah, maybe changed his mind. I said too many ums, I think. Yeah, there you go. I have a private chat. I can hear you, no cam. Not sure why. Maybe. Not sure why, Colleen. Oh, Intrepid says he's fixing his camera too. And again, if it's our issue, let us know. So this page on Facebook is where I share the event, and I was a little bit late today. I shared it today. Usually I share, a day or 2 or 3 before the event. I share tips and techniques on how to things that we shared the previous session. Like for session 2, there's a page out there, literally a link to a page that has the tips that we shared during session 2. And I want to talk about a couple of those right now. And Nanette, if you see something,
I'll
go
let
ahead
you
and
know.
let us know. I want to share a couple of those tips, but I wanted to say this real quick. I'm doing a lot of talking, and it's not going to be about me tonight. Hopefully we can get a couple of people to join our chat and talk about the collab and how we can improve our channels and YouTube's. But I want to talk to you about this. Why do we even care? Why do we care about improving our videos and improving our channel so other people can see what we're doing? Here's why. Listen to this, folks. 2.6 billion viewers on YouTube monthly. 2.6 billion. And I think everybody knows this. It's the second most used search engine. Wow. 62% of social media consumers use YouTube. 62%. In 2019, and it's way up now, 1 billion hours of video is loaded every day. 500 hours uploaded every minute. YouTube generates, here we go, folks. YouTube generates 28.8 billion in 2021. And we know that that's way up because of shorts and other things going on. That's crazy. Tim, I'm going to bring you into the chat. Tim.
Hey.
Thanks for joining. I wasn't sure if it was an issue here because we had that issue last week or
no, for some reason it changed my default camera on my settings. So I was looking all over the place trying to figure out why it wasn't on, and that was it.
So is your camera like focused on part of the other room, like on your snakes, or?
No, I've got separate Bluetooth cameras on the snakes, but no, it was for some reason it switched to a different default in the settings. So yeah, so we're good now though.
I tell you, in live chats like this, that's going to happen. There's nothing more frustrating, for me to lose the mic. And I've had situations where I lose the camera or I lose my mic minutes before I go live, and it's just so frustrating.
Man, the worst one I had, I was using a really expensive streaming program, vidIQ.
Oh yeah,
really nice, man. I had it set up with my stream deck with dancing geckos and all kinds of stuff on it. And the last live stream that I did, I had everything set up, hit one button, and lost all of my settings right as the live stream was starting.
So there's a lesson. Don't panic, because people are pretty tolerant. If it happens within the first couple of minutes, probably people are going to bail. But some people will bail. But generally speaking, people are pretty tolerant. I had a show where I was on somebody else's show. We were showing off. I was showing off geckos, and Crystal came into the room, and the geckos were jumping hand to hand, and one got away from me, went on the floor. My son came in the room, hit the computer, unplugged everything. Everything went down. So I'm the type that panics over something like that. But we were back up in 2 minutes, and the host, that's okay, no biggie. He was talking about other stuff. So live streams don't sweat.
Oh yeah, you just got to roll with it.
Do as I say, don't do as I do.
Hey, you should come to school and do dance class with our kids in the gym class, and then you could dance for Frank.
Nobody wants to see me dance. Nobody wants to see
you
that.
Could get gym dance lessons, and then you could dance.
I want to. Hopefully, we get a couple of more people jumping in here tonight. I know that a couple of things were a little bit late, but in the announcement and everything. But hopefully, we can get a couple of people jumping in. I do want to say thank you to everybody. Tim, thanks for joining in tonight. Tim, thanks for joining in the previous nights. I really appreciate this because I don't want to be talking all the time. And I promised myself after watching the video from session 2 a couple of days ago that I talked too much, and I'm going to stop talking so much. I want to kind of keep it organized and keep it on track. But I don't want to. This is for you guys, and especially for our viewers too.
Colleen said she's just going to watch or listen, rather.
Okay.
So don't worry.
Jump her on. Okay. Boy, I almost banned Colleen. I don't want to hit that button.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool to run into you guys. To see your channel and stuff like that for the first time. And I'm all about reaching out to different tentacles of the reptile community and so forth. That it's really easy. It's just like anything else, man. It's really easy to get caught in our bubbles. You get all the ball python people that are all together and they're all talking, and then you get all the retic people over here talking, and so it's kind of nice to just spread out and get involved with everybody in the community.
I completely agree, and I was hoping that, and I hope that in the future, as we get rolling here, not today's session, but a month from now, 2 months from now, that's going to happen. We get dart frog people joining in. We get
Yeah.
all kinds of facets. Invertebrates, isopod folks jumping in. We just
Right.
kind of build and build and build upon this because everybody's input, I think, is special.
Oh yeah.
Live streams, you might say keep it to a half hour. You might say go as long as you want, 2 hours, and I might say
That's what I say.
Yeah, I say I don't feel comfortable with that. It's got to be an hour, but everybody's different and everybody has opinions and everybody has reasons. I feel that they're doing stuff like that.
I'm fixing my chair, so just ignore me. But but no, man. I mean, you can do. When we did that fundraiser for US Arc. Get up there. Back of my chair's all messed up. But when we did that fundraiser for US Arc, Jay was live for 36 hours.
Oh my gosh.
36 hours straight. And he's shaving his eyebrows
sleep.
off and shaving his head and everything else. And we raised like $10,650 in that 36 hours for US Arc. And we always had people on. So I mean, you could live streams, you could do them as long as you want. People are gonna jump in and out and all that stuff. So
it's interesting to see that. I don't know if you do that. What just, we're kind of jumping into the weeds a little bit here, but what software do you currently use for streaming?
I haven't streamed in a while. I quit using vidIQ, or not vidIQ, but vMix.
Yeah.
Just in the interest of keeping it simple. It's a really cool program. It can do a lot of fancy stuff. But I think keeping it simple, I'm probably going to check out StreamYard when I start doing live streams again, probably. That's what everybody else uses. It seems like it does everything I need it to do. So,
yep. I use StreamYard. It works great. I used Melon for a long time, and then I had a couple of shows where I had a couple of glitches. It just stopped for 2 or 3 seconds, talked for 5 or 6 minutes, stopped again, and it did that 3 or 4 times during the show, and back and forth with questions. The customer support wasn't that great, but it's like, probably 20% the cost of StreamYard. But ultimately, I just didn't want to trust the software, so I'm back on StreamYard.
Yeah, that seems like the standby that everybody's using. So,
yeah, and their customer support is great. They have weekly videos, 2 or 3 times a week sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I like it. It's cool. Easy to use. Lots of options. I struggle sometimes to. I think you might not have your mute on for the. I can hear a little echo. Maybe not. Thought I did for a while there.
You hear a little bit of an echo, do you?
Or is it you?
No, it was there, but it wasn't me. I checked.
Okay. I don't hear it now, so I think we're okay. StreamYard is easy to use. I think I struggle a little bit going between screen to screen to screen. Like later, we're going to share your channel, your videos. We're going to talk about, improvements, if there are any. And during that time, I'm sure that hopefully I don't shut down the program because I'm jumping all over the place screens, but we'll see.
Right.
I wanted to share real quick, and then we're going to start talking about tonight's subject, and that's get the click. And I hope everybody understands what that means. How do we get people to watch our videos? But I want to talk about real quick, and then I'm going to kind of slow down myself a little bit and let you guys talk, and certainly our members of our chat here. But session 2 takeaways. I want to talk about this because there were some great takeaways here. Number 1, Sean Cannell, Think Media. Hopefully people know who that is. If you don't know Sean Cannell and Think Media, Think Media, go watch some of his stuff. Maybe I'll put together a list of some of the YouTube creators, instructional YouTube creators that I watch, and people can certainly add to that list. But his thing that he says all the time, if you don't know, if you watch his channel, you know exactly what I'm going to say. Just press record. Just get out there and press record. No one's perfect. Start now. Don't start tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to put together a plan, and I'm going to do, and I want to put together. Just do one. Put it out there. Nobody cares. 3 years from now, nobody's going to care what that first video looked like. Create a few videos, right? review with a critical eye and improve. Don't look at it and say, "Oh, that was pretty good." I think, and why did I get 7 people looking at it? Look at it as far as I'm gonna put myself into the community, and I'm gonna watch this and say, "Would I really watch this video?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard you can't really gauge your progress by the numbers, especially in a niche like ours, you know. I mean, you could go out if you pick a really common niche that appeals to most of the population of the country, you can get 100,000 subs in no time. It's what those guys specialize in, is making channels and just blowing them up with whatever's popular at the time. But there's not a whole lot of us, like in my case, keeping 6-foot monitors and 16-foot snakes. So it's a niche, and you just can't gauge how well you do by the numbers. The numbers aren't gonna keep up with how well you think you're doing or how well you are doing. It's just, I kind of went on the concept when I started my channel is I was gonna do 100 videos. I wasn't even really gonna analyze my channel until I had 100 videos out.
How did that work for you?
Working pretty good. It really has.
But did you wait until 100 videos before you started looking at the numbers?
No, I was looking at the numbers through the whole thing, but I didn't put as much stock in it. I wanted to see how, because through that whole course, all those videos, you're watching, and just like they say, you find one thing and you work on that for the next video and you try and make it better. And then you pick another thing and you just keep adding those things on and trying to slowly improve over time. And, that's why I got hung up on the numbers and all that stuff. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that's going to get you the most attention is negative stuff. That's been my experience. Like the 2 highest performing videos I got on my channel is when Keenan down at Camp Keenan in Florida, when he got his 2 monitor lizards stolen.
Yeah.
And I got a video on that, trying to blow him up and get awareness and get people looking for his animals. That got a whole lot of attention on a negative thing. And then this last video that I put out about what's going on down in Florida, that one just exploded. And again, another negative topic. Whereas the mundane educational stuff that, you may get people commenting left and right, man, this is so cool, man, this is so helpful. I got this great relationship with my animal now after watching these. You'll get those things in, but a lot of times they don't get a lot of attention. So,
and that's what's hard too. You have a passion for something, you for your snakes, me for my geckos, and you go, right. Oh, I just bred this and I have babies. This is the most exciting thing in my facility that's going on. Everybody, come look at the Periodora vizimba babies that I have. They're so tiny you can't even see them, and I'll get close-ups and everything. And then you go, you have 20 views, and 3 people go, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing! Congratulations, that's a tough gecko." And everybody else is like, "What is that? That's a gecko? It's so small." So the hard part is doing something that you're passionate about, not getting some of those. But then
you're never going to get the response you think it deserves, man.
No.
I go outside with my 16-foot retic, and he crawls across the yard, crawls up on my shoulder, and is facing the camera and all that stuff. I think that's the coolest thing ever. But you post something like that, and you might get a couple hundred views over the course of a couple weeks, and you're like, come on, guys, this is cool. But I mean that's why you just can't, like, these niche channels like ours, man. You can't do them for the views or trying to get rich. It's got to be because you love what you're doing, and do it for the animals and just build that community up,
We have Randall saying, unfortunately, people like drama, and it's got to be you. If you do that, I noticed, you did the latest Florida incident, and that's cool because you're bringing attention to that. Now, and I don't know how many videos I've got, but I've done one where I kind of was a little bit negative, and I didn't come right out at people, but it was the most uncomfortable video that I've ever done. I probably won't be doing another one like that. Right. You just have to feel comfortable with what you're doing.
Very particular. I make sure that whatever I'm talking about is something that there's a very clear line between right and wrong, and anytime I bring anything up, I don't get engaged in any of the drama back and forth, and this keeper's doing that one's doing that. I try not to mention names if I can avoid it at all. I did do one video when there was some stuff circulating about some people who were really mistreating some retics that they had. And that was a topic of discussion. So I kind of did a little expose on that. I don't even think I'd mentioned their name in that, it was just, look, if you guys are doing this, because the person had like 50, 60,000 subs, and they were showing just really bad husbandry all the way around and handling with these snakes. And when somebody's got that many, you've got to counter it with something. You'd be like, hey, if you watch this and you think this is the way to do it, it's not, this is, and of course that video got taken down, and I mean, the whole community was jumping up and down about it. So
I might be mistaken, but I thought that I watched that video today. You were talking about, but I sensed that it was a very positive video when I watched it, in that you were telling YouTube creators, you bring out a snake and you let it smell you, but don't let that fool you. Lots of experience, and you don't want to do that. And then bring your 3-year-old child in and have the snake smell.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, that was one of my most recent ones where he was talking. I think, I don't know, it could have been wrong. The one that I was talking to, the title of that is "Respect Builds Trust," and it's got a picture on the thumbnail of my male retic out there with me. So.
Why was it? I'm just kind of curious. Why was it taken down? Was there a somebody complaining, or
it wasn't my video that was taken down?
Oh, I misunderstood.
Oh yeah, it wasn't mine. It was the video that I was talking about. They took so much heat from the community that video just disappeared. So
outstanding then.
Yeah. I mean, I really, you gotta. I mean, in Florida is a perfect example of this, man. The way the reptile laws are going down there, I've got every species that's on a chopping block in states where reptiles are at risk: Burmese, reticulated pythons, and monitor lizards. Now monitor specifically. So, it just, for me, I've really got to be proactive about doing everything I can to help keep the animals in a good light and things like that. All part of what we do to make sure that we're not looking down the barrel of reptile bans and stuff like that. So that's what it's all geared towards. That's, if I do a negative video, it's all directed towards that goal.
So I get the sense that it's a negative, but it's not against, usually against a member of the community, unless they're doing something negative. It's right. More sharing awareness about a negative situation.
Yeah.
That's what I saw today when I was looking through your videos, and yesterday too.
Right.
I saw more of the, I'm going to point this out and I'm going to say why it's wrong, and I'm going to show you what's positive about it.
Right. Yeah. And try and be as diplomatic as possible and not go Jerry Springer over anything. That's just not productive for anybody. Yeah, it just draws the wrong attention. So.
But you can get clicks. Get the click. Do a drama. Do a current event and do a drama and do a lot of swearing.
Well, that's
like
what
that. Jump up and down.
Crazy?
That's what this last video that I put out. I put it out 2 days ago. I want to say. Was it 2 days ago? Yeah. So it's 2 days ago. And now when you go on YouTube and do a search for Florida FWC, the top 3 channels that come up under that search is Fish and Wildlife, Intrepid Exotics, and a big news channel. Wow. So anybody goes in there and they type in Florida FWC, my video is going to show up there somewhere.
So we're going to talk.
That's how, we're bringing that whole situation to light and explaining to people what happened down there to this poor fella. So
we're going to talk about where your videos can be found. Nobody's going to come to your den or family room and look at your painting. You have to share it, or it has to be shared somehow.
Right.
So you're talking about one of the ways of getting the click by getting on Google, the biggest search engine, obviously. So that's one way. But we just talked about trends, and we talked about the drama. So I'm going to talk about drama. We're going to bring up drama right now. You got to do drama if you're comfortable with it. If you're not comfortable with it, people will see straight through that.
But it's got to be acting drama, not drama.
I don't know. I don't. For me personally, I don't attack any kind of drama. I've got a
Right.
reason. I've got a reason for doing it, you know.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's not drama to me. It's you know, this poor person had his pet and he had to hold his first pet while Fish and Wildlife killed it in his hands when they came
my
into his
God.
house under false pretenses.
You haven't seen this?
And
I have
It's
not
bad.
seen this.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
no.
it's a
It's bad.
terrible situation. The guy was breeding a lot of snakes, and as Florida changed their laws, they just kept, you know, lying to him, misrepresenting their intentions. The laws changed, and you know, they just kept backing this guy into a corner up until the point where he was sitting there with his animals that he was supposed to have there, microchipped and everything, you know. And they came in and killed them all.
Oh, when did that happen?
It happened within the last couple of weeks.
Oh, I
Yeah,
totally
it was
forgot.
it was
It was
last
bad.
week, and like I said, it's on national news tonight.
Okay.
Daniel down at USARK Florida is actually on NBC Live with it tonight. So
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a horrendous
I didn't know.
event, you know, in our community, and certainly needs the recognition and exposure.
35 snakes.
Right.
Somebody just posted.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know, not being ingrained in that whole process, I know they indicated that these certain number of, and this show isn't about that part of it, but they told him to get
Right.
rid of these snakes. He was rehoming a lot of them. He couldn't find
Right.
homes for some of them. They came in and said, you know, your time's expired. We're killing these snakes. And you know, not only did they kill the snakes that he was not allowed to have permits for, they killed his pets.
Yeah.
That he had, you know, 100%.
yeah, when it was 100% currently legal with no restrictions to keep, and was pregnant with a clutch of like 32 or something like that. You know, and each one of those hatchlings would have brought in probably $2,500 to $5,000.
Can't imagine.
So-
And you know, besides the fact that they're his pets, and he's
Right,
had for a long
exactly,
time.
yeah.
he loved,
I mean, he was really shook up about it. So, and that's why, you know, my goal with putting that whole video out was simply to try and get the word out, you know, and get a message out to Fish and Wildlife, get a message out to Ron DeSantis, and things like that. And just, you know, I can't go down there, I can't contribute a whole bunch of money, but I do have a platform where I can generate attention for it, and that's the way I can help. So that's why I don't, like I said, I try and steer away from any concept of drama.
Right.
You know, I think if you go into it with that way, I think it'll really hurt your reputation. But if you're going in to actually help, you know, and you genuinely want to spread awareness or make situations better, or help address things, then, you know, those are the things that, you know, not only does it help your credibility, you know, it shows you're not just in it for yourself, and it helps, you know, it helps. The more people that know about it, the better, you know, the better outcome we're going to get for these folks. So
there's, again, I'm going to talk about comfort level. There's a comfort level that everybody has with, and I'll throw the words out there, clickbait.
Right.
What I saw from yours was a news story. Here's what happened. Here's my opinion on that.
That's not drama.
That's not drama. That's not clickbait. I put out a video today where somebody sent me feeder insects, and they sent them in just a really different way, but we were experimenting. I knew kind of beforehand that he was going to send some in 5 different cups. Let's see what happens with these, because I've never sent this type of insect, and they all came in, you know, perfect. But I put it out there. What did I just get? Surprise, you know. So I look at that and say it's kind of a little bit clickbait, but it's a little drama maybe, but it's getting people in so that they can see the content. And I'm delivering what I promised, because I didn't expect that, you know, like that at all. So I think there's a big difference, but you have to be comfortable with what you're putting out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And clickbait's not, it's not, I think sometimes it's been a derogatory term, but it's really not for creators. We all understand, you know, if you can make the best video in the world, and if your thumbnail sucks and nobody wants to click on it, nobody's going to see it.
Yes.
You know, so you've got to make them appealing. And I think as long as you've got something in that thing that relates to what you're talking about, you know, get that. Once they get in, they see it. If you've got decent content, then it was all worth it and nobody's mad at you, you know?
I 100% agree. And I've had this discussion with a number of different people as far as what clickbait is and what it's not. And I continue to say clickbait is presenting something in the description or something on the thumbnail that you don't then fulfill the promise in the video. So if somebody sees most expensive, I purchased the most expensive reptile in the world, and then they go in and it's a $500 ball python or leopard gecko, they're going to go, really?
Yeah.
Really? And they're not going to come back.
Exactly. Yeah, if I made a clickbait with a 20-foot anaconda on it talking about me wrestling a giant snake and I'm taking my 16-foot retic out of the enclosure, people are going to look at it and be like, dude, what are you doing?
So let me ask you this. What do you feel comfortable with? So you're doing a video and you're talking about feeding. I'm going to try frozen for the first time. I don't know. I can't, my creative mind is not working tonight. I'm going to try frozen for the first time.
We'll make it work.
We'll get there. And you're filming, and 2 minutes in, the snake comes out. And I know you're an experienced keeper and all, but let's say the snake comes out and just grabs you. You get it off, a little blood and everything, and you go, that would make an interesting video. Maybe I'll just focus on that. And maybe, I got bit.
Nope.
I got bit.
Nope.
How comfortable are you with that?
Nope. And if there's any snake keepers out here watching, anybody that keeps anything bigger than ball python, don't do it. Don't do it.
Cause problems.
I've been bitten and wrapped by 16-foot retics before on a couple different occasions. I've had to help several people out of bites. I used to work with reticulated pythons that were 22 feet long and pushing 200 pounds. We had a couple really big ones in there.
Wow.
And there was a lot of them. So things happen. But so it's not like the opportunity hasn't presented itself. I mean, the only picture you're going to see of one of my bites is me wearing one of Kevin McCurley's shirts that has the snake cartoon on it, says hands, it's what's for dinner. And I got my hand bandaged up in front of it after taking a bite. But that's as gruesome as it gets, because our animals, and you guys are fortunate because you don't have the same stigma with what you work with. But our animals are thought of as monsters and man-eaters and killers. And you think about prehistoric pets with a 20-foot python, getting them out, pissing them off, having them biting at them and stuff like that. And it makes people terrified of these animals that are otherwise really sweet to work with as a general rule.
100% agree. I'm going to ask the viewers, guys, there's a lot of different ways that you can discover a video. Let's say you pulled this video up tomorrow, you didn't watch it live, and you saw, this video, you're ready to watch it, but you saw another video, I got bit, expression. Are you guys going to watch that? Are you going to watch that from the thumbnail? Description is I got bit, or my boa took me to the hospital, or something like that. I'm kind of curious if people would watch that.
Oh, they would. They would. I mean, I don't know about the folks that are here. Your community here is a little classier than the general public. So
I don't know if I resemble that remark. I appreciate it, but and we've got a great crowd here. I think if it's a short, I might watch it. So it's again, this is so difficult. There is no right and wrong. There is no black and white.
Right.
It's what you're comfortable with. I work in the gecko world where you're right. This guy isn't going to take half my finger off. He's going to leave a little red mark here, and that hurts a lot. That red mark hurts.
Yeah. It'd be like a paper cut.
Yeah, almost as bad. It hurts. So we're not going to get any views off of something like that. I did have a gecko die, and it was a pretty expensive gecko, and it was pretty traumatic. I kind of shared that, and I felt like I was, my toes were in that drama, clickbait water, and I didn't feel too comfortable with that. But I got a lot of really, really good responses, and a lot of people, came back and thank me for sharing, an experience like that.
Right. Yeah, I think stuff like that's perfectly fine. I mean, things happen, and as we get, and this, I mean, you've got over 13,000 subs on here now, so you've got your community established, and the people hang on and they come in and they hang out with you because they care about you. They keep up. That's what the community is. So, you've got to, or you've just got the wife holding everybody's attention while you sit there and talk.
Everybody's waiting for her to go, bam, right upside the back of my head. That's what it's all drama in that
One
sense.
day.
One day.
There you go.
Alice.
And I think it's you guys showing you're real and that you struggle with your hobby as well, or your business as well, when you're honest with people and they see what has happened. And we're not all perfect.
Yeah,
we're not
all showmen. This isn't Hollywood.
No.
This is my home where my animals are at. And if I've got a camera going in here, you're going to see me at home with my animals.
There you go.
That's the only thing I can do.
Boy, I was just going to say something too about that. If I'm going to do something like that with the gecko that isn't that has passed away, I'm going to find a reason, if I can, and say, look, folks, here's why it passed, because I didn't do this or this. And there's no way that I would get an animal, bring it in, it dies the next day, and say, this seller, this breeder sold me. It's all about the transparency of what we're doing. We're going to share the good. Oh my gosh, look at this Periodora vizimba baby. And we're going to show the bad. These, I just recently had Coleonyx brevis that I kept on the wrong substrate too long, and I lost both little babies. I shared that to be trying to be transparent and trying to share. Don't do it like I just did it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, there's value to that. I definitely value that for people that are watching. And it's like I got a bunch of people that are on my channel that really they attach themselves to certain animals on the channel that they see all the time, and the Nile monitor is one of them. Every now and then I have somebody coming up saying, "How's Niles doing?" So I mean, if something was to happen to him, I would, I'm always doing content on him, and I kind of owe it to the audience to say, okay, well, this is what happened. He's not with us anymore.
Because you brought that cast member. It's a terrible phrase, but you brought that mascot, whatever, into your life, into their lives, and they've invested by watching your videos into you, into your animals, and especially maybe that one. And if you lose it, then that's a part of their investment that you have to go back and share back to them. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I think stuff. I think stuff like that, if it's done right, is just like most things. I mean, I have made bite videos before. I had one video where I was talking about food response bites, and I took a segment of one of Brian Barczyk's videos where he had been hand feeding one of his snakes and it got a hold of him. And I was just using that small segment to demonstrate how that happens, and then to show how he got out of it and stuff like that. But, and it's just like really adamant about not showing bite videos, but at the same time, I do that with the understanding that there does have to be some education of how to manage them, and I think it's just one of those topics that you need to pond skim over. You just come in, you hit the topic, you say what you got to say on it with the minimum amount of gore, and you bounce right out of it and you leave it alone.
But I see what you're doing too. You're using that video to make a dramatic point so that you can explain later. It's not just the opposite. It's not using that video and then judging and criticizing. It's here's what you should be doing with these. And as an example, I'm going to show you what somebody did wrong.
And he did a bunch of stuff right. And that's why I used that clip, because, all of us that have been keeping for any length of time, we've all taken a bite. You get in a hurry doing something, you do the wrong thing at the wrong time, pop, that happens. But I mean, it was a really good demonstration of how he managed it, how he stayed calm, how he had help, how he, got the animal off of him, how he didn't let it stress him out. He just went in, continued feeding, animal was fine. He had little holes in him and stuff like that. But I mean, that's one of the things that anybody that keeps the animals needs to know about. But you know, there's certain channels that you go on to, man. I mean, when you open them up, that's all you see is gore.
Yeah.
And it just, there's no, there you're starting to attract people with psychological issues.
Well,
There's
and,
no
and
other way
another
to
thought
say it.
that I have is that you show the same type of video over and over and over again, and people are going to go, yep, got it. You're going to show me a snake bite.
Yeah.
Seen it, done it. You show that in the purpose of educating, and somebody's going to
Right.
watch that and go, oh, okay, I got the point there. Then you
Right.
show a feeding video, or you show a monitored care. So that's part of your process, part of what you do, part of
Right.
your day-to-day.
Yeah. And, you know, if somebody goes in the very first video that they open up and they go right to the middle and they go right to that one spot where they see a snake bite, they might watch that segment, but any other video they click on, they're going to see a sweet retic. They're going to see a properly maintained, a really good relationship with the animal and stuff like that. So it's, you know, like I said, it's just a really small segment. It's a necessary segment I think needs to be there, but, you know, they may see that part and start to get an impression about something, but then you click onto the next video and it's like, okay, this is what it's like. And you're like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense.
It's
The
not
next one, so it's something else.
Yeah, it's not the meat of the video. It's not the main
Right.
substance of the video.
Yeah, people aren't going to walk away from it sick to their stomach because of all the gore, you know?
Yeah, I would. I get queasy in seeing blood. So,
Mm.
J-Bug says, what do you guys think about the videos of this guy who feeds his snakes by mouth? Oh,
Dumb. I don't know that I've ever seen it, but yeah, that's I wouldn't do that with any of mine.
No, nor would I. I don't get that, and I would watch it. I wouldn't watch it intentionally, and if I did catch it and I'm watching it, I would turn it off immediately when I saw that, because it sounds gross, and that's not what I'm all about. And that's not what I consume when I go to a YouTube channel.
Right. And a snake's mouth opens up, what is it, 160, 170 degrees or something. It's almost, you know, a flat plane when they open their mouth all the way. So if they miss your mouth, it's nothing for them to stick their teeth in your eye. You know?
Oh my gosh.
When my female retic was young, I had her in a drop down door enclosure, dropped the door, hung a rat in front of her. She went right past that thing and just stuck in my chest. I got a picture somewhere. It just shows a big oval where her teeth were at. Lessons learned, you know.
Lessons learned.
Oh, she's a small snake. I ain't got nothing to worry about. And all of a sudden I was like, come on, girl. Yeah, there's no way I'd feed by the mouth like that. That is silly.
No, gosh, no. So no, I wouldn't watch it. I want to talk about getting the click. I veered off from the topic a little bit there, but getting the click. Where do you guys, viewers, and Tim yourself, how do you find the videos that you want to watch? Okay, you jump on, I don't know, social media. You open your computer. I'm not even going to say you jump on YouTube, but how do you find the videos that you want to watch? How do you go, okay, today I want to watch this, or you get something in front of you that says, oh, here's a list of videos. I'm going to click on this one. How do you guys watch videos? Where do you find your videos to watch? Is it links on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok? How do you find the videos? I'll let you go ahead and start, Tim.
Yeah. I mean, I know with me, I'm podcasts and stuff all day long at work. So I drive a lot. I'll always have podcasts running and things like that. And it just, you know, in that setting, you're at the YouTube at the mercy of the YouTube algorithm, because you're not searching necessarily. You just kind of flip through and hit a button and let it play while you're driving.
Yeah.
But I mean, YouTube's the second biggest search engine. So anytime, you know, if I'm looking for something that's if I'm looking for research or something like that, you know, I'm going on Google, going to university sites and things like that. But I mean, otherwise, hell, YouTube's even saved me thousands of dollars working on my car. You know, How do you do this? Cool, I'm an expert now, and you go do it.
How to fix something on your washing machine? I'm going to YouTube. I'm not even looking it up on Google. I'm going right to YouTube.
Calling Russ.
I'm calling Russ, our good friend. Well, yeah, that's true. So we just talked about who said it. The Tread said Google. Angie says she does a
YouTube,
search. Just search YouTube. Sometimes on Facebook. I search on my faves are my subscriptions.
What
I watch
search
very
feeds?
few videos outside of my YouTube feed. My YouTube feed. Okay. YouTube is the go-to search for me. So here's kind of what I'm getting to. So we just talked about search. Search is one way, and we're going to get to the feed in just a second. Search is one way. So how do you get people to find your videos through search? Either Google, you just mentioned I think you said third with your latest video. How do you consciously do something on your on that YouTube video,
Yeah.
to make it appear in search?
Yeah. It's going to, and you'll hear different things about SEO optimization and things like that, titles, descriptions, different things on how it impacts your video and performance and all that other stuff. And I'm not 100% clear on what it actually does, but on mine, I try and get a list down there of 20-ish keywords down in the SEO section that are relevant, that I know that I say in the video, that's relevant to the topic and so forth. I'll just make sure that those are in there. I try and make the title something that's descriptive of what the topic actually is and stuff. So there's, like I said, man, you're really at the mercy of the community with anything that you put out there. You can get everything right, hit the nail on the head, and if you make a good video and a good thumbnail, people are going to click on it and people are going to watch it.
Yep, I agree. I think there's two different things. One, you get that real quick hit, like my video today. I can't believe I got these. I want to get a real quick hit. I'm going to go out there later. I'm going to go out there after a week or two, and I'm going to change the title. I'm going to change the thumbnail, and I'm going to say, I got these shipped. I'm going to say something about black soldier fly. I'm going to say something about feeder insects. I'm going to say something about reptiles. And in the description, I'm going to change it 100%. I'm not going to say, what did I just get? This is crazy. Because that's what people right now are going to read. And hopefully I get that click. I'm going to watch it. And maybe I'll subscribe to the Supreme Gecko channel so I can watch more. But in 2 weeks, I'm going to change all that so that I keep it going for maybe 2 or 3 years, hopefully.
Right. I think one thing too, I think you can really overdo it with those keywords. And I think sometimes people will shoot themselves in the foot. I know I have. Trying to think of anything that somebody is going to search and put those words down in there, even if they don't necessarily pertain to the video. Yes. Like if I put out a video on reticulated pythons, and I've got down in my SEO hognose snake, boa constrictor, enclosures, and if I'm not talking about any of those things, then those things may come up in somebody's search. There may be an impression on it, but you don't get a view, you don't get a click, and it's detrimental to, there's no benefit to it. Yeah. So,
even worse, here's my understanding of the whole process. I do a video on leopard geckos and I put in there hognose snake. I get that click. And Joe goes in and says, oh, hognose snakes. I want to keep hognose, or I've been keeping hognose. I want to find out what Supreme Geckos. Click, and it's all about geckos, a leopard gecko.
Yeah.
And they watch 2 minutes and they jump. So my view time is, instead of this, it's like this. And I never get that person ever coming back. So
yeah, exactly.
We're going to dig into descriptions and titles and thumbnails and stuff like that later. But I do want to mention, I've seen this over and over, heard this over and over again on creators, expert creators. Hashtags mean nothing to the algorithm now. They really have such a small piece. In fact,
I heard they'll actually gig you if you try overdosing on hashtags. I think the limit is like 5 or 6 or something like that. And if you start chucking too many hashtags in there, I don't know.
Yep.
I just vaguely remember hearing something about it, and I don't remember the details. But
and a lot of that is due to YouTube is so smart that it goes into the video and it listens for, obviously, AI. It's listening for keywords like black soldier fly. Oh, they're talking about black soldier fly. So I'm going to put this video out in front of somebody else. We just saw not notifications, but in their feed, that person just watched a black soldier fly video. This one by Supreme Gecko has that word all over the place in it. I'm going to throw that one up in their feed to see next. So,
yeah, it's scary sometimes how they do it. You can almost look over and say, "Hey, you want to get Chinese tonight?" And then the next thing comes up on YouTube is how to cook on a wok.
Yes, or Facebook. You go over to Facebook, and that's
Right.
all you get is ads for Chinese food.
Right.
We saw the feed. So, Google search. We're going to talk more about titles, descriptions, and hashtags later, but we also saw in the feed. So if you, Tim, you're watching a video on Chinese food or boas, and they mention Chinese food in there, that's going to be in your feed next. You're probably not going to see something on Period or Vizimba. You're probably not going to see something on Isopod. You're going to see something about boas because you just watched a video with a lot of boa stuff in it, or they mentioned Chinese food. So the feed is also coming up. So that's another way that you can get the click is to, say the word. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is exactly what you just said before. If I'm going to do a video on black soldier fly, I'm going to throw it in there from a comfort level. I'm not going to say every sentence black soldier fly, but I'm going to sporadically, throw that in there so that the algorithm knows what I'm talking about. I'm going to put it in my description enough, that it feels comfortable. It doesn't.
I think the best chance is if everything jives and that's exactly what you're talking about, and then you translate, those words into your description, everything properly, and then it makes sense, and then YouTube knows where to put it. If it's all over the place, then they don't know where to recommend it, and I think it just kind of floats out into the ozone and disappears.
Exactly. Wow. Bomb Exotic says, I also read the titles and bypass the thumbnails. Angie said that too?
Yep.
Interesting. So you guys are reading the titles. That's interesting because I think it's a kind of a both thing. If you're just, you watch a video and then you have next videos, what's being recommended to you. What I do is I just flip through them and I find I've got that 0.38 seconds where I identify a thumbnail, and then I read the description or title. I'm sorry, title. I don't think I ever read a description, but I'll read that title and say, yeah, I want to learn more about Chinese food or whatever it is.
Now you're making me hungry. Stop with
I don't read the description generally unless there's something referenced in the video that they put down in this. And I use that for a lot of lengthy details and stuff like that. If I've got them, something that, because I don't script any of my stuff. If I'm going through and editing and there's something that I left out, I'll tap that down in the description or something like that.
We've got the tread. Do the words in the comments factor in too? Be curious if quality of comments in a live can help or hurt its future video views. I don't know. I don't know if the content of the comments, I'm guessing they probably do. I know that the more comments you get, everybody, what do you think about comments being important to YouTube? Leave a comment in the comments section.
Right.
So the more blatant ask for comments, the more comments you get, the more YouTube says there's a lot of engagement here. So I'm going to promote it, to the next set of viewers.
Yeah, that's what really caused my last video to go off, I think, is just there was so much engagement on it. I mean, every time I sat down, there was 10 comments to go through. And, I just kept checking all day long because I try and keep up with them. And I was like, this is good, but I can hardly keep up with all these things. And once they see that engagement, man, it starts to get recommended out a lot more.
I think also as you comment on the comments and maybe get some other comments off of that, it just builds on itself. It's not incremental, it's exponential. I think the more off of one or two comments you get. So folks, if you're doing YouTube content, if you're doing videos, for gosh sake, get the comments by asking people for comments in your videos. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down. and then engage those comments after the video. What I try to do is once a day, I'll go in, sometimes it's 2 or 3 times a day, but once a day I'll go in and I'll answer all the comments that I can. So I think that helps. It obviously builds the community because people feel like you're engaging them. And I have a lot of fun too, because I can answer some questions, but I think the algorithm really pays attention to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know one of the gauges that I use on how successful a video is really is how much the audience is engaging with each other on it. That's something that I really enjoy seeing, is when, there'll be one of the viewers will post a comment about something and you get 2 or 3 others engaging with them and all discussing it and things like that. I mean, that's the community building aspect that I really like about it.
Looking at your videos today, I see that happening a lot in your videos, and that's really cool. Do you think bot comments help with the algorithm? I think just the opposite. I've literally watched, and I know it's for shorts because I've watched shorts. I put out shorts, and it's one of those things. Don't look at the numbers, but don't do as I say, do as don't do as I do as I say. So I've sat there with the shorts and just hit F5 over and over and over just to see it climbing. I've sat there where something is like 950, go out, come back 1 minute later, and it's 932. So I think YouTube knows when things like that are happening.
Right.
And I know that they go through once in a while and they'll clean up subscribers. So you'll see your subscriber list go from 1,000 back down to 950. So they know. So I think bot comments, I think, YouTube will see that this bot is putting that comment on a lot of different sites. The same, thank you very much for this information. And they're going to maybe not clean it up, but at least not consider it. Or maybe in their algorithm, they're pulling them out.
I don't know a whole lot about those.
Robert Ride Along says, oops, I'm sorry. I have been told the comments on the video after the live help. Makes sense. I think all comments on lives or long form videos helps a whole lot. So everybody that's commenting, on Tim's videos, on mine, thank you very much.
Yeah, I try and say something on, all the channels that I support when I go in, like the video, and even if it's just hi, try and say something, just kind of help build the engagement and stuff up on them.
I think I did that with 3 or 4 of your videos today. I just went in and said, great video, thanks.
Yeah, I'd seen a couple of those too.
You did not do that.
I tried to do
there was like 3 of them that I hearted today.
I might have done that on one, but I think I was more in depth. I answer every single, this is Robert, on my videos, and I heart theirs as well. Brahm says, depending on the content I am interested in viewing, I look at the length of the videos also.
Yeah.
I do the same.
Guilty.
We're not going to get too deep with it right now, but Tim, watch your comfort level with a long form video. I'm not talking about shorts. I'm not talking about lives, just a long form video. Where do you start feeling uncomfortable? Because, oh my gosh, it's this long. People aren't going to watch it.
Oh, for the stuff that I put out, or the stuff that I watch?
For yours. I'm sorry, for the stuff that you put out. Yeah.
Well, when I started the channel, I told myself, I was like, all my videos, I'm going to keep them to about 10 minutes, keep them nice and short. I think the only thing that's been less than 10 minutes is my shorts. I try. I give it the old college try, right? But I mean, mine end up running between 12 and 30 minutes, I think is generally where they fall into. I get, I'm down a train of thought and I just roll with it. It's just a stream of consciousness on whatever the topic is. And then I'll go back in and try and edit things out so that it's a little smoother and a little faster pace.
Yeah.
Jump cuts are wonderful. And, but yeah, I mean, it depends, man. I mean, I think, like, I know with the stuff that I watch, sometimes I look intentionally for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour videos. I watch a lot of debates, philosophers, science programs, things like that. And sometimes if I'm just going to be driving around, I don't want to mess with anything, I'll look for a debate that's an hour or 2 long, just pop it, just have it running in the background.
Mm.
I think a lot of people probably do stuff like that. So I don't know. I think long form, short form, it all depends on what you've got to say, how interesting you can keep it. And as long as you're putting out good information, keep putting out good information. Some people are gonna watch longer than others, but yeah, I just think you got to be honest to the content, and
Yes.
whatever the title of that video is, you need to fulfill it by the end of it, whether it takes you 5 minutes or 30 minutes. So.
I think at some point, and it's not going to be, in the next 2 or 3 shows, but at some point we're going to look at analytics. And oh my God, we're going to look at numbers and math. While he's doing math, stop doing it. Don't show your spreadsheets, Wally. We're going to look at analytics, but we're going to look at a couple of simple, basic measurements. One of them is going to be engagement. And I think that if you're creating videos and you're concerned about the time of your videos, you're concerned about your opening, your introduction, you're concerned about the ending, how you end the videos. We're going to talk about engagement. We're going to watch that needle jump around a little bit, and we're going to watch to see if you plateau or if it's a gradual ski slope. And if it is a ski slope, then maybe you need to do something about it. Maybe you need to start changing your videos around. We'll talk about that later. But
and then that's good. That's good for folks that want to study that. I don't look at those hardly at all. Just because, like I said, my whole persona on my channel is just I'm genuine. I'm not gonna change my behavior, the way I talk, to suit a line on a graph, and it's just the nature of the beast too. The bigger you get, the more exposure you get. You're going to get more people that like you. You're also going to get more people that dislike you. You're going to get a bunch of praise. You're going to get a bunch of criticism. And you can't cater to that. I think you've really just got to be honest about it. And, if you get the community asking for things, take that into account, use that as ideas for new videos and stuff like that. But I don't know.
It's hard because
I look at it like that, but somebody else could look at it from the other perspective and say that, well, those little graphs that you're ignoring is what your audience wants. That is a reflection of what those people actually want. So you could look at it that way too, and say that it's your responsibility to look at that in order to tailor to doing the right thing. But
I'll mention just real quickly, and then I'll get out of the numbers. I promise everybody. But I use numbers maybe once every quarter, once every 5 or 6 months. But I'll go specifically. Am I ending my videos weird? Or so I noticed one thing a long time ago. I was literally it was like a mountain for the last like 30 or 40 seconds. So in summary, what we just talked about was this, and you want to do this, and literally when I said in summary, let me summarize, it was
video's done.
Trash. The video's done. So I recognize that. So now, and this is kind of something that I wanted to talk to you about. This is pretty cool, folks. If you're creating videos, here's a little tip. I'm just jumping all over my script now, but here's a tip. If you're doing the end, don't say summary. Don't say thank you for joining us. Unless that's the last 2 seconds. I always go, thanks for watching. We'll see you next video. But anyway, and you don't have to do that. Don't listen to me all the time. But what I changed was, and it's in this this Black Soldier Fly video, is I'll do the last like 30 or so seconds. So this is really cool, Black Soldier Fly. Take a look at these. And hey, I'm going to be feeding these, but probably not as much as I'm still going to be feeding mealworms. And if you want to keep mealworms a better way, make sure that you watch this video that's popping up right now.
I'm terrible at that.
What's that?
I'm terrible at that.
I really think that YouTube looks at that a lot, and I'll try to do it just to keep people, in the stream of Supreme Gecko and watching more videos.
Right.
Because they came there for a reason, and that's to find out about a feeder insect, and maybe they're interested in another feeder. So I try to do that with my videos, and then I'll throw that end screen. You're doing the end screens, so yeah. And
I have the end screens up there, but like I said, for me, stream of consciousness, and for some reason I've got a hard time training myself to think ahead to the next topic, because my whole kind of concept is tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them. See you next time.
And I tell you what, that was exactly what the formula that I was following the first year or so. And I took out that third part. I already told you. Why do I have to say what I told you? I understand what you're saying 100%. And that's my comfort level too. And it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for our English speaking friends. It's uncomfortable
Easy for you to say.
To just drop the ball. Okay, I'm done. Click end broadcast. It's uncomfortable for me to do that. But if you told them, they know. And again, TikTok, 5 seconds. You just took up my 5 seconds. Next. So, but you have to do what you're comfortable with. Nanette, did you have a point that
I'm just
the tribe
popping things up there?
Sorry. I will skip ahead. Usually, make sure it's worth my time, especially on how-to videos. Absolutely, and it depends on what you're watching it for. If it's I've got to relate to me. If it's isopods and a brand new isopod that just came out and how to care for them, I'm going to watch 30 minutes of that video, and I'm not going to do anything else. If it's something that I've kept and I'm looking for that, I haven't been able to breed them, they're going to talk about care and where they purchased them and click. Let me find out how you bred them. So I'm going to jump ahead to find out the content that I want to consume.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the one comment up there where you're saying he, makes videos for fun, doesn't care if he makes any money off of them. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get monetized, you start making a meager penance off of stuff. But I mean, I'll just be excited if this channel ever starts paying for the reptile food and the editing software. If I can just break even to that regard, I'll be happy. But we're not there yet. I'm still in the red as far as the whole endeavor goes. So.
And I think as you grow in, I'm sure Dave Kaufman, or I'm sure Brian went through this for a long time. He was, I'm sure, way into it, to the point where as he grew, he invested more into it. So it's just like keeping snakes or geckos. Yeah. You keep buying up. So
in niches, you've got to build your reputation when you come in. I mean, that's another thing for folks to keep in mind is that, we all like to think very highly of ourselves, but the outside world doesn't know us and they don't think highly of us. You're just another face on a screen that they can scroll past. So, I mean, that's another thing when you first start your channel. Like that for me, that was the most daunting thing in the world because, you can get on YouTube and see people that I've got a lot of respect for that are just incredibly knowledgeable about these animals. And, this stuff goes out all over the world to the most intelligent people on the planet. They can all see it if they want to. And I'm getting out there with my little snake and talking about them. And I'm like, you better make sure you've got all your shit in one sock because you don't want to have people coming on there and saying, man, you're really a bonehead and you really need to stop this. So that was the most daunting part for coming in at first is like, you just make sure that you're putting out good, simple, basic information and, just let people get to know,
you're right. I was under the same thing. And what I found is after, I don't even know, I did this before, then I took a break and then, I've done it for about 3 years, YouTube videos. I've found, in all honesty, those don't bother me so much because somebody with a lot of knowledge will come on and say, you're keeping that gecko over peat moss. You should be keeping it over sand. Oh, let's start up a conversation. Can you catch me on Facebook? Let's chat about this because I'm very interested in your. So if they've kept animals for a long time, I treat that as a back and forth. It's the people that will come on and say, your tanks look like crap. Why don't you clean the glass once in a while?
Yeah.
And this isn't what tonight's topic is about, but I have found myself getting less and less offended by that.
Yeah.
And taking it so personal. I just say thank you very much for your comment. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
There's going to be sharpshooters and trolls and all that other stuff out there, which has been a really big surprise to me because I haven't encountered near the amount of that as I thought I would. Not even close.
Yeah.
I don't think I even had. I don't even think I had my first negative comment on a video until maybe 14 months in or something like that. So I was just, I mean, that, like I said, that was another gauge too. It was another way of me just realizing that, you know, it's going to grow as fast as it grows. You're not going to be able to force it. Just do your thing. And, you know, and if you're not getting a lot of negative feedback and you're helping a lot of people and you're getting a lot of, you know, thank yous and grateful comments and stuff, then you're doing the right thing. So
Angie's just said, I'll stick to doing nature videos. I can't stare at the camera and talk to myself. Exactly. You know,
it's weird.
If you feel comfortable sitting with, like you and I, we're just chatting. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, if you're comfortable doing that, do it. If you're comfortable with, you know, going out to nature and taking picture, I'm not comfortable with going out because I always feel like everybody has outdoors. Everybody knows what it looks like outside. I want to show them something a little bit different. I want to show them this gecko that maybe only a handful of people are keeping. You're the same way with your snakes. That's my comfort zone, or just chatting like we're chatting now. So I give, you know, hats off to Angie for being able to get out there and show, and then find, you know, snow owls and really cool stuff. Bubbling.
She should collaborate with somebody. Find somebody that wants to be the face. It's really articulate, that wants to, you know, and she can do all the fancy. It'd be really cool if I had a really fancy camera person that can put on all the B-roll and stuff for me. But
yes, absolutely. Angie and I did a little bit of a collaboration. She went out looking for mushrooms for isopods, and I thought that worked out really, really well. Any other comments, Nanette?
Oh, we're just having fun now.
Okay. We talked a little bit about getting the click. I want to ask this. I'm only going to run a little bit more here, Tim. I don't want to take your whole night and everybody else's.
No, man, you're fine. I think we might, if I'm lucky, have a rain day tomorrow from work. So.
Oh, nice.
And I had some coffee, so I'm good to go.
So Frank always suggests 24 hours. I can do 24 hours. It sounds like you can too. So let's.
I think the coffee pot's still hot.
I gotta go to work. Sorry.
We talked about, you know, where people watch videos and how to improve that whole process. I'll say this: who's your audience? Let me ask that. Who's your audience? We have some creators here. I want to find out in the comments. Number one, who's your audience? Creators that are in Robert. Who do you think your audience is? Angie, who's your audience? And I'm going to ask a follow-up question, obviously, to this. But Tim, who do you think your audience is?
A lot of newer reptile keepers. That's what I tailor my content towards.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
how? I'm waiting to see if you continue until midnight. I'll be able to join. Robert says I video some nature and reading my writings. That's more difficult than talking to the camera. I'm sure it is. I'll say that my audience is basic gecko keepers, but it's also people that want to save money with, you know, doing things or getting things a little bit cheaper without paying, you know, the bigger costs, feeder insects in bulk, things, but also the rare geckos. You know, I talk a lot about. So my niches are kind of all over the place, and I don't know if that's good or bad. You know, when you're talking to the beginner snake keeper, your niche is fairly, you know, tunneled into that.
Yeah.
How do you know what to talk about then? How do you know what to do your videos on? Do you live your life and you do something, you go, that would make an excellent video?
I've kind of broken it down into sections with different handling techniques, different, you know, episodes focusing on some reading your animals, some on how to feed, some on how to, you know, some habitat stuff and all that. A lot of it on questions that I see coming in and stuff like that. I mean, those I'm actually, and I've got my species series that I'm doing now. So I've got the reticulated python series done. I may end up throwing a couple other videos on there down the road, but for the most part, that's done. I'm finishing up my Nile monitor series, and I'm going to do one on the rest of my animals too. So, you know, do a whole series starting from their evolutionary history, where they came from, all the way up towards, you know, interacting and socializing with them and stuff like that, just covering everything. So I got it on 2 of them right now. I'm going to do it on all of them. So that's a lot of content that gets out there. And like I said, as questions come in and stuff like that, but that's one of the things that I want to start doing is as I go through the comments and things like that, and as these questions come up, just trying to do the 10-minute videos for real.
You mean
and just putting out short segments on, okay, I had this question come in. This is the answer. You know, put the question as the title. This is what the person asked, and I answer it, and it's really short and sweet, and I don't have to spend all day editing it. And you know,
you're just like feeding me this right almost off. You're reading my script. Can you see my script? Is there a mirror? So
I'm gonna tell you my secrets, man.
You're answering the question like, you know, I was kind of, you know, throwing the softball up there. I think that now I can't read it all. Thanks, Nanette. She's minimizing, she's rolling, she's scrolling. So my point being that, you know your audience, know what they're looking for, or develop your audience by talking about isopods and focusing on everything about isopods. And your audience will grow off of that. You have to do it with passion and everything. But, you know, also, just like you were saying, look at your comments. Go to your competitors. I don't want to call them competitors. Your equals, your peers.
Well, things will trend. You know.
What's that?
Things will trend.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
There'll be several people in the reptile community talking about stuff, and there's nothing wrong with jumping on the bandwagon and making a video about it, you know.
Go to search and look up, you know, crusted geckos, how to crusted geckos, and see what comes up. But your point is just so perfect with, I go to my videos, I look at the comments, and I pull the questions out and I do a video on that. That's what your community wants. That's what your community wants.
Do you do an individual video, or do you do like a bunch of your questions?
No, it's typically, I mean, I'm so long-winded. It's typically one question. I can make a 30-minute video out of one question. So.
I could too. And then you try to narrow it down, and then you cut all the ums and everything out. But I tell you what, Tim, that's exactly what I was hoping, you know, we could get to, is look at your peers, look what kind of videos they're doing. You don't have to copy them, but kind of get a feel. Talk, you know, you talked about trends, do the questions and answers, but focus. How do you get the click? Because you're talking about what they want to hear, because they're coming to you for the community, or they're coming for specific information. How do you know specific information? By looking at your questions.
Well, I mean, and you think about it too. Say, for instance, somebody's looking for videos on reticulated pythons. You know, they may see 5 or 10 guys on there with reticulated python videos on there. Now, some of those viewers are going to relate more to the way I deliver and the way I talk. Some of them are going to relate more to how somebody else delivers and how they talk. And that's why it's not really a competition, because there's no way of, you're not really competing, because people's personalities are going to mesh differently anyway. You know, if you really can't stand somebody and their voice is nails on a chalkboard, they could be operating at Isaac Newton levels of perfection, and you're not going to watch them, you know. Whereas you can find somebody, if they're entertaining and they make you laugh and you like their personality, they might be a complete buffoon, but you're still going to watch them with the understanding that you're not learning anything, but you're entertained. So
you mentioned that, and one of the people that I don't try to emulate, because he has such a unique style. Everybody in this chat will know Clint. Clint's Reptile. Clint's Reptiles. And
I've used one of his lines before.
What's the line?
when I was talking about my Nile monitor, he does a really good is a Nile monitor the right pet for you? And one of the first things that I actually took a little clip out of there, and where he says, if you're watching this to determine if Nile monitor is the right pet lizard for you, it is definitely not the right pet lizard for you.
Perfect.
And that's an awesome line that I think everybody should use when they're talking about certain animals. You know, if you're watching this video right before you go to the store and buy it, don't go to the store and buy it.
That's almost that redneck group, you know. If you do, you might be a redneck.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you think that you shouldn't own a monitor.
Yeah, I always like the Bill Engvall ones. Here's your sign.
Yeah, yes. Here's your sign.
Tractor trailer stuck up over an overpass. Cop walks up and says, "Did you get stuck?" I say, "No, I was delivering this damn overpass and I ran out of gas."
Here's your sign.
Yep.
Let's see. Did you see anything else, Nanette? I
I
wanted
just
to
put something up. I'm trying to think.
I want to touch on
This is a
one
good
thing.
question.
I want to touch on one more. We're going to take this question. I want to touch on one more thing, and then we're going to jump into your channel and your videos and just roast you. No, we're not. No, we're not. Okay.
Tear it up.
What about offering both versions of a video, short and long form?
Yeah.
Edit it for the long version, then just take a movie preview type. What do you think?
I do that. I started doing that. I've been slacking. I needed the last video that I made. I wanted to do that for, but I found that that's really helpful. If you can take, like what I do with mine is I'll take my full length video and I'll find key points. I'll jump cut them all together really quick, just in a way that it expresses, a broad overview of the whole video and put it into a short, because shorts will get, your analytics, your line will be like this, and then your shorts right here, all the way up. You get that big spike of views. And whereas, your regular long form video might be here, your shorts right here, and it's just about exposure. So you just get that many more people exposed to it if they click it. I make sure that the link to the full video is really obvious, and I think it helps.
I'm going to look at it at a different sense. I agree with you 100%. And I try to do that. I've tried to do that. And then I see a gecko hatching and I have to, take 30 seconds of, oh, there's a gecko coming out of the egg. I've got to put that on a short. And I just never get to stealing parts of some of the videos that I've done and put them into shorts. Do you ever use
easy to do though?
What's that? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's so easy to put those things together off old videos.
It is. Do you absolutely? And we're going to talk about software in just a second, or I guess software apps in just a second. But do you use that clip for actual short, or do you use it to promote your long form video?
Like a movie trailer?
Well,
like
it's
movie trailer.
like the ones that are condensed long form videos are trailers. Yeah, just like a movie trailer. And those are out there to promote, that particular video. And since they get so much more exposure, you get a few people in there, you get them in. If they like what they see, then you end up getting regular viewers out of it. But of course, you can do. I've seen people build entire channels just off of shorts. I mean, I could take a bunch of my animal footage, and I do that from time to time. Just take footage of one of my animals doing something cool and throw it out there as a short.
Yep.
So.
Yep. How do you take people from a short to a long form? Do you do any linking? Do you say in the short? You do. So
no, I do links. I do links in there, and when I use Premiere Pro for all my editing. So I've got templates for my long form video, and I got templates for my short form video.
Nice.
Nice. So all I do is, like, if I'm getting ready to do a short, I'll open up Premiere and I'll set my window of 58 seconds for it. And then I'll pull in whatever long form I'm doing and then just kind of watch through, click segments out and drag them over, make sure there's no dead space. So I get as much of the cool stuff in there as I can. And I just do text overlays with like my logo or full video and description, or subscribe to see, stuff like that. Just anything that shows that this is a trailer or an advertisement for sometimes I'll even write that in a description, I think, trailer. And then the name of the actual video that it's trailer for.
I watched a couple of your shorts. I didn't take an in-depth look at them, but I'm going to go back to your channel probably tomorrow and start watching some of your shorts to see how you do it. I've always felt uncomfortable with putting into a short. You've watched 32 seconds. Now I'm going to take 5 of those seconds more to say, go watch the premium. I've always felt weird about that, but you're putting just a subtle logo and trailer and maybe a link in the description to send them back over.
I'd be really interested to see your feedback on that too, because I don't know how those are received on the other end. You know, I do them and I put them out there, but I don't know. It's even simple stuff too, because, you know, I'm putting it together on a PC. It's going to look different on a cell phone.
Right.
I'm putting it together on my cell phone. I can't see what it looks like on somebody's PC. So it's always good to know how the other person sees it, because that's what matters. You know,
there's so many variables. I sit on my phone and I'm just, you know, swipe. I sit on my computer and I'm going to dig in a little bit, and I want to see more videos of that person. And oh, they keep this animal. I'm going to go over to their channel and subscribe. But on my phone, I'm just swiping away.
Oh, yeah. And the cool thing about shorts too is once I get that short established, I'll ship it over to YouTube store or Facebook stories and Instagram reels.
Nice.
So, and Instagram reels are awesome because you can put the link to your channel right there as a clickable link over the video. So
you and I, we'll chat. We'll have a little chit chat here. I don't do a good job of that at all. So I need to do better with that. I'm focused so much on YouTube. I don't push out to other sites. And that's exactly what we're talking about here, is getting the click, doing a little promotion. Do you ever, so we'll talk about that off stream, but do you ever, and then we'll bring it back to the group, but do you ever promote your videos on Facebook other than, you know, the shorts? Like, you go out there and say, watch this?
Yeah. I consider it, you know, anybody that I'm involved with, I consider as just part of my community. And any vehicle that I've got, you know, I can use the YouTube channel for the in-depth detailed stuff. You know, I'm pushing a bunch of like 4,000 people almost on Facebook and stuff like that. All the different reptile groups that I'm in, the different organizations, USARK Florida, Carolina Herpetological Society, all the different keepers out here, the community on Instagram, which is huge. I think, I just think if you encompass all of that stuff and use all of that stuff to communicate back and forth with folks, because you can get that personal interaction with folks on the social media platforms where you can message back and forth better than comments on a video.
Yes.
You know, like one thing that I push with some folks if they're having problems is I'll get messages sometimes saying, you know, I'm a new retic keeper. I've never had this species before. I'm terrified of it. I'll just direct them to my YouTube and we'll get on there and we'll do a video chat where, you know, they put their phone on a tripod where I can watch their animal and them interacting with it and help them read the snake's behavior, you know, because you see it a lot with new keepers. You know, that snake, it's curled up, it's not moving, it looks like it's getting ready to strike them, and the people are, you know, they may be afraid to approach it, but you've got to break the seal on that interaction at some point. You just can't sit there and stare down with them, you know. And it's just so hard to explain to people over messages. Like, you know, somebody asked me, how do I approach my snake? How do I explain this in a text?
No.
You know, when there's so many variables, and, you know, they open up the door, their snake might be striking, you know, next time it might just be sitting there or something. So it's so helpful to folks. I've helped several people, you know, getting used to their animals like that, just saying, hey, okay, that snake looks a little agitated, so don't sit there and poke them with a stick, just kind of get moving the other direction, you know. And then I'll just read their behaviors, and when the snake starts moving, I'll tell, okay, now get a hold of them, you know. And then they do it, and they pull it out, and I'm just like, you know, it's not on fire, you know, support it, treat it like a baby, you know. And you just kind of talk them through things, and it's cool to watch people's confidence just start to go through the roof with these animals, man. And then they just start sending you video after video. Look at me. Yeah. We're so cool now. He doesn't try and kill me. And that's just community building stuff, man.
And I was just going to say, what a better way to build community. You talk about that, and somebody could leave a comment on YouTube or even on Facebook. That's going to go so far. What's this saying? You know, a picture's worth 1,000, whatever.
Yeah.
Sit down 5 minutes, and I'm going to look at your enclosure, and your leopard gecko isn't eating. 2 minutes, I'm going to figure it out from seeing 2 minutes of video. And, you know, we could go back and forth chatting for a week and a half and never get to that point of, you have your heat pad over here, but you have your hide over here.
Yeah. Same thing with what you guys do. I mean, you can help advise people on their habitats and stuff so much easier than trying to describe it. And I seen that question. That help to have no fear with snakes. I don't think there's any such thing as no fear with snakes. It's you've got to have a cautious confidence with them.
That's a good way to put it.
These people say, and you'll hear that sometimes, where snakes will feel if you're scared, they'll feel if you're uneasy. I don't know if that's a perfect description for it. Snakes react well when they feel secure, when they know what's going on, when it's easy for them to determine what's going on, and when they feel secure and supported. An unconfident keeper or somebody that's afraid of them isn't able to provide that comfort to the animal.
Yep.
So, what do you say?
Yeah, it's not to the extreme. Hi, Chandra. But for geckos as well, it's all in the confidence. You don't just take 3.5 minutes trying to pick them up from one place into your hand. You go and you scoop them up, and it's done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like if you've got a reticulated python, if you're afraid of them, people that are afraid of their snakes tend to overuse their hook and poke and poke and poke. And you can take a snake that is just mildly chilling and just kind of wants to be left alone and make it angry and defensive just by poking it, just by misreading its behavior. So that's where the confidence part of it comes in. You've still got to have enough fear and respect for the animal to be alert and not unnecessarily put yourself in a situation where it could get you,
Yes.
But at the same time, you've just got to be confident enough with whatever risk there is there that, once that snake starts to move away, you've got to reach in, grab it. You got to keep it secured. You got to keep it comfortable, because if it doesn't feel comfortable and you're trying to hold it out and trying not to get bit, it's going to feel uneasy. It's going to start striking, trying to get away from you and get scared. So
I just want to get out of here. Stop this.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're saying if you poke them, they get mean and mad and
like
irritated? Okay. I'm going to jump over to your channel. One more real quick point. Don't forget, folks, if you're creating YouTube videos, make sure that you use your community page on YouTube to promote your videos. And
thanks, Frank, for putting out the video link here for Tim's.
Yes. Please do that. So I'm going to go over to. Sorry, I just took you completely out of the stream. There's a better way to show that. There's a better way to show that. Okay. So we're going to talk about your channel real quick. And as I said in the very beginning, folks, if you want a review by the panel, by everybody in the chat, if you have comments like I like this, or I don't like this, or this isn't for me, put those comments out there. Everybody that gets a review is going to have thick skin, and they're going to take everything that we say with a grain of salt and as an open communication to what individually we like and we don't like. And, if it's something that we don't like and you like, keep doing. If it's something that we don't like and you like doing and it works for you, don't change. So let's see if I can get back over here. Bear with me. Okay. So I'm going to just rattle off a bunch of stuff, Tim, and then you can come back and say yes or no. And I see what you say, or I'm doing it this way or whatever. I love your banner. Love it. I love the page. I hope you can see everybody see this. I'm over on another page here. Hopefully it's big enough. Great Intrepid Exotics here. Everybody recognizes that brand. Love it. You have an intro.
We explore. Do you have a natural love for animals? Then come along with us as we explore what it's like living with and caring for. Invited to spend time with us as we experience.
God, is that professional? Did you have somebody do that for you?
No, I did that.
Wow.
Man.
Outstanding.
Adobe After Effects for the win.
Oh, nice. So is that a template that you just, drives? Cool.
Yep.
I read over this. This is right on, loving everything about this so far. I didn't go to your community page. I'm sure. Yeah. You're building your community page. I'm going to go back home.
Do you have a natural love for?
I always do that with my channel too. I'm going to talk about thumbnails for a second. On Bitty Babies, I love that. It stands out. 2 words. I've always said, and I'm not the one saying this, but everybody, all the YouTube experts say 3 words or less. 3 words or less.
Mhm.
But sometimes you can't do that.
I think
Right.
that's Bitty babies.
Bitty babies?
Bitey babies.
Bitey.
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 Yeah.
I'm doing this all off the cuff, so I kind of have a little bit of, I've looked at it before, but I looked at this and I thought that's kind of hard to see. And I tell you what, if you're on your phone, you circle the red circle around your, but I think that this, I keep going over it, but Reptiles TV reality, I feel like, in my opinion, that reality TV is kind of lost. And the picture on the far right is kind of lost.
Mhm.
Get bit, man, oh man, I love your thumbnails. I'm picking on you for a couple of little things. I love this one.
Oh, I mean, so far everything you've said, I know. It's as I was putting it out there, I was like, man, there's a lot of stuff on his thumbnail, but this is what I'm trying to express, so it's not going to be perfect.
Cool. So you already know it, and I tell you what, if you looked at mine, you would go, Wally, why did you do this color? It looks like crap. And I'll go,
Right.
Yeah, I know. Now that I have tried some things, I know.
Right.
Love your playlists. And they're real specific. Nile monitor, reticulated pythons. Here's your live streams. FAQ, species specific. Beautiful, beautiful. On your playlist, and I tell you what, again, this is do as I say, not as I do, but God, great playlist. On this one, have you thought about changing this to something else instead of just your current videos? Maybe most popular videos, or
it may not be a bad idea, actually.
I don't know.
Instead of going chronologically.
Yeah.
So.
Everything else, Tim, I think it is outstanding. Great links down there, by the way. Everything looks good. I can't. Anybody else in the chat?
Very professional.
There you go. So there you go. J-Bug, very professional. Anybody else? Hyacquata aqua balls. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to play one of your videos. I'm going to go. Which one was I looking at? Shoot, I'll never find it now.
What was the topic? I might be able to help you find it.
Give me a second. I've got too many things on my mind. Oh, shoot. I don't know. Let's just grab this one right here.
Today, we brunch all day long.
Yeah, I knew I should have downloaded parts of a video instead of letting it play like this. But you get credit for that. So
looks good, looks great.
It's like Butterball.
Excellent.
When the stakes are high at work, your tone matters.
Sorry, Tim, I'm going to skip it.
Tone suggestions can help.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, no.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to stop you after like 3 words, 4 words. Right. I'm looking at this and saying, wow, I'm engaged with everything going on here. I'm engaged with the snake. I'm engaged with you. I'm looking at the background. You've got 3 seconds and I'm buying in. 100% I'm buying in. Nanette's over here. I don't know if you heard her, but what did you say?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I was
focused
on
that's a common response to my babies.
Yeah, no,
But
it's just
are you going
nothing
to
against you.
Are you going to click?
No, big snakes are for everybody.
There you go.
My mother said she'll come into the house, but I'm not allowed to take any of the snakes out.
Seriously, I'm looking at everything. This is I think
it looks good.
Yeah. Visually, this is very, very, very appealing.
So I've got a really important question for you today. Reptile reality show. Is this a good idea or a bad idea? Now, here recently, we've seen it come out.
I'm going to stop it right there. You're giving expectations right in the beginning. It's right there for everybody. Here's what we're talking about. What do you think? You're getting, again, visually engaging. From an audio standpoint, from a content standpoint, engaging. You in the first 10, 15 seconds there, I think you've caught the audience and you've brought them right back in. So what are your thoughts?
Well, there's one technique of when you start talking with folks is to just ask a question ahead of time. Ask the question in the introduction, answer the question in the body. And that's kind of the approach that I took on now. And I especially do that with stuff that I'm not particularly taking sides on, or if I'm not 100% on one side or the other. Kind of like the reality TV show with reptiles, you know, it could be awesome. It would be great to be able to stand behind somebody that does something like that. However, if they do bonehead things on their show and turn into the Tiger King, then it's going to hurt the community. So it's like, you know, it's one of those things where you ask the audience, you know, this is a question I'm asking myself. Here's my thoughts on it. What do you think? Type thing.
Yes, I love it. You're not coming out with, here's my thoughts on, because somebody might have, I don't want to say not the same thoughts, but somebody might have kind of the similar thoughts, but not quite to the degree that you do. Or maybe they're you know, a fanatical about this, and you're just not coming across. You're just putting it out there. I'm not. Hey, you decide, guys.
Unless I have an objectively verifiable point, just like my last video where we was talking about what happened down in Florida. If you wanted to watch this one and then go ahead and watch my demeanor on the last one that I did, it's an entirely different person, entirely different approach.
Would you do, you know what? I think the rest of this video is very similar. I'm going to go just a little bit.
Gruesome live feeding videos.
Hold on. I think I lost the video. Sorry, everyone. There we go.
You know, stop and putting out all the bite stuff and all the dramatic stuff just for effect and just for clicks and views. There's a really big problem with that.
Right on. I love how you're engaging and you're giving a bit of your opinion, and people are going to buy into that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you kept up the whole, you know, what do you guys think? Here's what's happening. What do you think about that? Here's what's happening. And didn't give your opinion, I don't think people are going to come back to your channel. And I kind of knew that stuff already. You don't, you know, state what your opinion is.
A lot of people are afraid to take a position because they don't want to offend anybody, you know. You see that with so many of the huge channels. You know, anything that's a touchy subject, they ain't touching it with a 10-foot pole, you know, because they've got so many people. If they take a position on anything, they're going to upset somebody. Well,
and she's saying I would have skipped the video because of the thumbnail, because I thought that's all the video was about till I read the title. Gosh, it's hard. Yeah. Yes.
And that's a fair critique. You know, somebody that doesn't want to see bite videos can see that and think that and zip right on past it. Yeah,
and I hesitate here because I'm trying to think of, you know, is there a better way to show that? And I don't know if there is. And that kind of gets back to what we talked about before. Is it clickbait? I don't think so, because you're explaining. So
right. Yeah, and that kind of goes back to, you know, the other videos, the other thumbnails that have got too many words on them.
Do you have a natural love for
such touch and go thing? So
yes, I'm going to get into this just real quick, Tim. I don't want to.
With got to be metallics.
I knew I should have pulled down, downloaded some of this video.
Well, this is about helping the bitey babies. That's how it came across to me. It's J-Bug's question.
We're going to ask that after this ad. Okay. I'm going to stop this. I apologize, Joshua.
Mobile is the fastest growing mobile provider in the nation, and now is the time.
Yeah, it was about you know, younger snakes and being really snippy and things like that, and how to manage them.
Okay. Let's shoot over to this video real quick. I'm going to say, even before we jump into this opening is one of the best I think I've ever seen in my life on a video. There was no way I was turning this off after 1 or 2 or 5 seconds. I'm in.
That was just by chance.
I know.
Just happened to catch that on videos. I was sitting down. I didn't even know it until I started editing.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. So, a lot of you may already be familiar with what happened down in Florida with Fish and Wildlife going in and slaughtering this guy's entire collection of pets, which is what they were. So if you've got anything at all, if you keep a dog, a cat, a hamster, or 16-foot reticulated pythons, I need you to hang out with me today. And I've got my boa imperator out, and I'm going to keep him out with me the whole time we're on here, because apparently Florida Fish and Wildlife needs a snake identification lesson. This is what a
I love it. I jump back over here. So a couple of things I'm getting out of that. I know what you're going to talk about. So I'm going to come at it from two different people. I'm going to come at it as Wally. I know the subject. I'm invested from a reptile keeper, standpoint. I don't own snakes, so I'm emotionally not as maybe attached to it as a snake person, although I know it's greatly affecting our hobby from all angles. So from that angle, I am 100% all in all the way through. I saw that first 30 seconds. I'm not going to turn it off. In fact, I watched it yesterday and watched it all the way through. And I'll be honest, I rarely watch a video all the way through. I'm a skipper. I'm the remote control person. I don't watch commercials. So I'm going to take the other stance, and I want people's opinions on this. Are you guys going to, in the chat, are you guys watching this video? You happened upon it. You didn't look at the thumbnail. You didn't read. You clicked on it. Are you guys watching this video because of the first 30 seconds?
I would have watched it because I didn't know what had happened. And I was interested right away to hear what had happened.
Well, you just took the next 2 minutes of my blabbing away. And I was going to say, I don't know anything about this. I'm going to watch it. I think so. I want to find out what's going on. So the very first time I watched it, I had the Wally Kern hat on, and I know about this. Gosh, Tim, why don't you explain a little bit about what this is and give a little bit more background and talk about and show pictures, and in the 30 seconds, grab them.
No, if he had given a lot of information or had said where or what had happened, I probably would have gone off of it and YouTubed what actually happened quicker and not watched all this stuff. Because now I'm going to go back and watch this video because you didn't share it with me.
You just stole all my every single ounce of it. You just stole it all.
See,
I'm the same. Yeah, no, I feel like I fed you that information.
You didn't.
And I certainly didn't. I think you captured both. I think that if you would have shown pictures and stuff like that, somebody that knows about it might have gone, yeah, saw it, got it. And I might stick around with your opinion and all. Somebody that doesn't know anything about it, you're giving some background without giving too much away, and the person wants to watch it all the way. So
yeah, I mean, it was like there was a lot of emotion and a lot of anger wrapped up in that whole thing, and I wanted this one to hit. And just like it did, man, I was so happy to see that it's right up next to Florida Fish and Wildlife on the search rankings. So if you go into YouTube and look up Florida Fish and Wildlife, the second channel on that's going to pop up is mine. And I want everybody down there to see what they did, And so that was the whole gist of it. I wanted it to be something that non-reptile people, non-snake people, so I've got a huge amount of comments about that. I don't keep snakes. I hate snakes, but this pissed me off. I hate snakes, but this made me cry. Stuff like that.
You said, two words that I think you thought came through, but it didn't. You said anger. You said emotion. I wouldn't call it emotion. I certainly wouldn't call it anger. The two words that I caught myself when I watched the video was passion and concern. So,
that's good.
In my opinion, that's good because I want to be concerned too because of your passion. So, Tim, I think you were right on. I'm not just saying that. I started watching it and it's like, I want to look for comments and it's like after about 6 or 7 minutes, like, oh shoot, I should have been watching this for criticism and I was engaged. And so I think that was a great job.
JP has a comment.
Yeah, I want to read this one. JP says, if I click on it, is because I want to know his opinion on the topic. So yes, I would have tried to watch it. Now, finish the video, that would be dependent. I'm telling you what, get the click.
I think that's the way all of us are.
Yeah. We talked last week about, keeping somebody there, the content. I feel emotional about this is completely different content. Getting them to flip and click on the video is 100% different topics.
It's not drama.
It's not. Nothing in here I read as drama. You're reporting with passion and concern. So, so two different things. You get the click, and now you have to work on the content and keeping people watching. And again, this video, I think you did a good job of that too.
Well, and you educated people with it, it sounds like, potentially, by letting them know what had happened and
Right.
need to be
Yeah,
more.
and that was the goal, you know.
Sounds like. I have to watch it now.
My Isopods with me says you guys have hit on a lot of stuff, a lot of that goes to show how differently so many people view and consume material out there. And I also feel like, you know, it's not just people's personalities and how they consume. And I think it's timing. I think it's I think it's device. You know, like I said before, I think it's experience. You and I can have the same exact passion. We keep exactly the same snakes, but you've kept 10 years. I've kept 2 years. We're going to consume different videos differently.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, somebody like Kevin McCurley is going to sit down and watch some of my videos and go, well, yeah, he learned that from me. Like, what's next? You know, and I've told him that anyway. I've been like, you know what, dude, you probably saved me from a bunch of bites.
I tell everybody here, you know, when it comes to isopods, I watched Russ from Aquarimax Pets over and over and over and over and over, and message. And then I started my videos, and I think the first few videos I did, hey, everything I learned from Russ. And you find somebody and you respect what they're doing, and you want to give them credit too. I'm looking at my notes here. I just want to make sure I've covered everything. Again,
That's not a spreadsheet either.
Yeah,
you know, one thing that's really cool too is I just like there's a couple people that when I earlier on, kind of a long time ago ish, not really a long time ago because I've only been doing this like a year and a half on YouTube, but kind of after I first got started, there's a couple people that contacted me as like, I'm getting my first retic and all this other stuff and wanted to talk about it. And they're hesitant and you know, now those people are out putting their own content out. This is how you socialize your reticulated python. You know, these are all my retics that I've got now, you know. And yeah, it kind of came true when I was like, you know, if you get one, you might as well just start clearing out room in your house because you're going to get more. And that's exactly what happens. But it's cool to be able to help people through that initial thing, and they get so comfortable and they get so confident that they can go out now and, you know, start putting out their own content, you know.
And to get that satisfaction when they come back and say, hey, I got 2 more and pictures, and that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's neat. Like I said, man, it's not a competition for me. We all lift each other up, man, if everybody just works together on stuff.
Well said. You said a year and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. My first video came out in October 22.
Wow. I'm going to throw a couple of numbers out here, folks, for you people that are starting a YouTube channel. You're starting videos. A year and a half, 130 videos, 3.57 subscriptions. Subscriptions don't mean a lot to YouTube anymore. And we shouldn't focus on subscriptions. It's more watch time and how many people are clicking and everything. I looked at a couple of your videos. Here's the numbers that I was, you know, floored by. Your momentum in the last 5 months, and you know this probably way better than I do, is growing considerably. Now, having said that, I go into the videos. I'm looking, you know, from an editorial kind of standpoint, from a critical standpoint, and I'm looking at them, and you've got, I don't know, I'm going to say 500 views, and you have like 100 comments. That's like, what? How is it? Why? And the next video, same thing. And your videos are growing, your comments are growing. So that engagement, we talked about it earlier, but that engagement means that people are watching your videos and saying, hey, good job with this, or hey, I've got a question. It doesn't matter. And you're getting that feedback, which is phenomenal. I don't know if I've seen, you know, this number of videos compared to the ratio of comments. I don't know if I've seen that from anybody. So again, good job.
I think that's just I go into it, like I said, just because I had some unique experience that I could share and wanted to help some folks out and things like that. And it just kind of snowballed. So it's like I said, if you pay attention to the folks and you try and help people, and I enjoy it. You know, I mean, I used to, my old commander when I was in the Army, in the last unit I was in, be like, you know, he'd be like, hey, Sergeant Jack, you know how to do this? I'd be like, well, I ain't done it in a few years. He's like, well, learn it tonight because you're giving a class on it tomorrow.
Learn it.
Roger, sir.
Do it. Share it.
You know, and all that stuff translates over into doing YouTube videos too, you know.
It does. It's all life experience, and the more experience you can have, just kind of shares all over the place. I'm looking for, you know, again, I'm looking at your channel, I'm looking at your videos. I don't have much. I'm sorry, Tim. I don't really have a whole lot to share with you to fix. And I'm not that way. I like critical feedback for me.
Right.
And I try to find the same for other people. I just don't have any, you know. I had a couple of little squeakers in there, but nothing major at all. I love seeing the animals in your video. So I watch your videos. I thought, I don't share animals that much. I talk. I show pictures.
Right.
I'm not holding animals. I'm not. And that, I think, just like you said,
yeah,
that's your monitor.
That's one thing.
That's engagement.
Like even when you watch Adam Wickens, you know, he could be talking about something, even if he's not talking about the animal, he's got his, you know, bearded dragon on his shoulder, or a leopard gecko out, or something. You know, there's just something unique there. You know,
I think I tend to watch videos, and I'm watching and I'm listening to the subject, but I'm watching and I'm looking for, oh, he's doing it that way. If I'm watching a gecko video, you know, breeding, I'm not looking at just that animal and the enclosure. I'm looking around to see if they have a misting system or something like that. So I think, you know, again, TikTok, and we want to engage as much as we possibly can. So again, short answer in summary, I would like to say that I didn't have many things, and I apologize, but good job with your channel. Good job with your videos. Keep the growth, man. You're doing a great job.
Cool.
What's that? Yeah. Seeing the animals or what the content is about is important. I've told this story before. I did a whole video on viper geckos. You know, I went out and got the vipers. I built this rack and enclosures, and I showed the empty enclosure and how it's all set up. And like within an hour, somebody came back, a good friend, and said, "You didn't show the viper geckos at all in your video."
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm really dropping the ball, is getting any really good cinematic style B-roll to put in with my videos. There's, you know, one of the guys on here, there's a guy named Bionic Benny who puts out a bunch of content and stuff like that. And he's really on point with his stuff. He does some really good cinematic stuff. You know, Adam Wickens, of course, he's got the cinematics for his B-roll down to a science. And everything is just so clean and National Geographic-ish. I still got to work on that. I ain't quite there yet.
So do I. But again, all of that takes a lot of time.
It does. And I just don't have, you know, when I ever get to the point where I can start doing reptiles full time, that's when I'll start doing that stuff. Right now, working a full-time job, it's just next to impossible.
Thank you, Tim, for your service to the country from all of us. Anybody else with a question, comment, concern? Anybody else? And while in the chat you're thinking about that, I'll ask Tim if you have any other questions, any other points. I've got 2 tips that I'll leave everybody with. But again, if you want to have your channel, your videos reviewed, contact me on Facebook. Leave a comment here if you'd like, and let us know. Tim, comments, concerns, tips?
There was one thing, and this is kind of on topic, kind of not.
Sorry.
Topic. Let's see. What's one animal that I want but have not gotten yet? Okay. You'll see a lot of new videos coming out when I get space. I want to get a green anaconda. I don't have space for one right now. I want to do a really nice aquatic setup for him. Hydrosaurus, known as a black sailfin dragon.
Oh yeah, sure.
Those things. The melanistic sailfins with the bright blue eyes. Just love them. Yeah, I want to get that. I want to make room for a Asian water monitor because their temperament's a lot better than my Nile monitor, and I want one I can actually work with a little bit easier. False water cobras are nice too. Those are really cool. So those are kind of the animals that I was the next ones that I'm going to work on getting when I get space.
Or the new warehouse.
Yeah, exactly. One of these days. But one thing that I think we need to touch on, and it's not really reptile related, I think it's more life related. And this is something that came up with somebody else that I watch pretty regularly. It's a really, really insightful person. And it's watching out for information silos. Are you familiar
tell
with
everybody
that
what you. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I was in corporate before I retired, IT, and we dealt with that all the time from the user groups.
Right.
Customer service doesn't, support and talk to order entry, which doesn't
Right.
talk to purchase. Yeah, blah blah blah.
Yeah, something that this is a pitfall of algorithms. This is a huge problem nationwide. Your algorithms for your Facebook, for your Instagram, for your TikTok and YouTube, those algorithms pick up on what you watch and what you're interested in, and they try and feed that to you, and you don't get anything except that. So you see so many people that whatever their view is, they'll have this view, they'll look into it. Say, for instance, it's the most absurd conspiracy theory you can think of, just in the interests of not offending anybody or lighting a fire under anybody's butt. But think of the most absurd conspiracy theory you could think of. You can go online and find a way to make a really good case for it. There's enough information out there, right and wrong, that just about anything you can justify in your own little information silo. And it's sad. You see it in politics and everything. People right and left just hating each other.
Yep.
And if you talk to those people individually, they're almost identical. They got the same viewpoints on almost everything. But this one is in this little information silo that tells them to hate these people that are in this information silo. And if you just strip all that stuff away, they've got maybe one little thing that they disagree on. Other than that, they'd be best friends. So I don't know. I when we're talking about social media and YouTube and all of this other stuff and the algorithms, it's something that we all need to be conscious of and just make sure that we're stepping out of it. Looking at people that we may not be interested in, or topics that we may not be interested in, or people that we may not even like. Just to, with an open mind, hear things out and hear the other side, and just try and work on a more peaceful interaction instead of getting buried in this little ball of information that puts you at odds with people that are in this ball or this ball.
And it's getting worse and worse by the day. And again, I say it over and over again. It's becoming, the TikTok mentality. I'll consume 5 seconds at a time, and if something that I truly don't believe in, I'm going to slam it.
Yep.
Excuse me. A friend of mine calls them keyboard warriors, and I'm going to jump in and slam and jump out, and I'm done with that conversation. I'm on to the next one. I'll tell a real quick story here that years ago, I posted leopard geckos. You should, heat your enclosure, your hotspot to 105 degrees, and moved on. I didn't mean 105. I meant 95, your hotspot. And Julie Bergman, who keeps day geckos, just beautiful, wonderful person, came on, and she didn't say, well, you know nothing. She came on and said, well, I know you know leopard geckos, and I know you meant 95 instead of 105. I just wanted to clear that one example, that one experience, 20 years ago, helped me take my hands off the keyboards for just a couple of seconds on making comments like you don't know what you're talking about. It makes me go, I bet they just made a mistake, or they're just not.
Yeah.
So Tim, I 100% agree with you. You just all need more passion. We need more consideration of other people.
Right. Yeah, they had a question up there about where I came up with the name Intrepid Exotics. I don't know how many of you have tried to name something now, but it's kind of like movies. All the best ones have already been made. All the best music's already been made. There's nothing left of interest to me in this world besides my animals at this point. but it's difficult to find a name. You come up with something, you try and get it in there, and then 15 people already got it. But intrepid it means bold and decisive and courageous or whatever, and it just seemed like a fitting attribute to have around large reptiles, because you've got to be bold and decisive when you're working with them. So it fit, so that's what I used.
Perfect.
Yep.
I was talking to somebody today about Supreme Gecko. They were changing their business name, and I said that's the hardest thing. And I know that they've been in the hobby for 20 years, and they're changing their name. That's tough. Wow. So come up with a name that you believe in and that you can support, for the rest of your business career. I came up with Supreme Gecko because I wanted something. First word, I wanted crested geckos, and thank goodness I didn't go that way because somebody else had it. Because it isolates and narrows your scope, but I came up with Supreme from a quality standpoint, something that somebody can look at and say, I bet you they have good animals, and Gecko, obviously. So tough, take your time and make sure it makes sense to you. I like the exotics part of your name, Tim, because it kind of encompasses everything. I tried to do
it does, because I was a Marine. I kept marine aquariums and stuff like that for a long time.
Oh my gosh, cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we kept octopus, seahorses. We had some coral tanks, lionfish, all manner of eels, a California stingray, hatched a shark, pufferfish. I had some freshwater tanks too, with some huge koi and iridescents and balas that were like 18 inches long.
Oh my gosh.
It was just something you just don't see. You see the little ones in the pet store, but most of them die before they get that big. So you did that. And then the first time I actually had to move all of those tanks to a new house, that's when I decided to get into reptiles. So.
Nice.
Because that was
but you were talking before about the experience and sharing, some of that knowledge and experience.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, the exotics, it kind of covers everything, because we got prairie dogs and a hedgehog and that stuff too. So.
Make sure, looking at JP's comment, make sure that you come up with a good business name like right off the bat, because it's hard to change, man.
Yeah. Like you get into the ball python community, man, they've got some names for their businesses in the ball python community that I don't know that I'd really want to have on a business card.
I know. Or talk about it at a reptile show.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've got 2 tips, and if you have more questions in the chat, let's bring them up right now, because you probably have about 1 more minute. A couple of tips. We were talking about software apps that you can use. What are you using currently for editing your videos? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I use I've just got a subscription to the Adobe Suite.
Perfect.
And they've got I use Adobe Premiere for my video editing. It's got the encoder that comes with that package, Photoshop, After Effects, Illustrator, Adobe Character, Animator, stuff like that. Nice. I mean, there's enough stuff in there to do anything. I mean, you can do production level stuff. Some of the stuff that you can do is just absolutely amazing. And with the templates that they've got now and stuff like that, especially in After Effects, if you spend a couple weeks really digging into it, the user interface takes forever, because but once all of that becomes intuitive, it's fun. But it just takes.
It's not like you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Now, is that a yearly fee that you're paying?
Monthly
fee. I went with Premiere Elements because it was a one-time purchase, and it worked out better that way. I want to tell people though, you don't need an expensive software application. I started using Lightworks years and years ago. DaVinci Resolve is free. Lightworks is free. What I can do in Premiere Elements is maybe 10 or 20% more than I could have done with Lightworks. Apple iMovie, HitFilm is a real popular one. CapCut. I've been using Sorry, let me say it again. I've been using CapCut on my phone, and it works perfect.
Right. Adobe Rush, I think, is what I use on my phone.
Oh, nice, nice. I think I went to CapCut because there were so many videos on it, so many shorts. It was so easy.
Right.
And I wanted to finish off with a tip that for thumbnails, I don't know what you're using to create your thumbnails. What kind of app are you using? An app?
Photoshop. Yeah,
Photoshop.
It's Photoshop. Like I said, I try and keep my thumbnails as something in the video. So I'll go in a lot of times. My standard procedure for that is I'll flip through until I find a scene that I think's cool, and I'll export a clip of that. Open that up with Photoshop, throw some text in it, throw whatever odds and ends and stuff I need to. So yeah, and that takes the clickbait thing away from it too, because if you look at my thumbnail, you're going to open up the video, you're going to see me there with that shirt on in that room with that animal.
So it's just a seamless flow. I like that.
Yeah.
You can get in trouble if you have something different, and I might have that experience with the latest video that I just did.
Well, see, I mean, and again, though, I'll sit here and I'll analyze everybody else's thumbnails as I'm looking through, and probably 80%, 70 to 80% of them don't have any text on a thumbnail.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe I should start experimenting with that, seeing if it works. Something where you've just got a keyed out background and you've got a person's face and one item in the picture, and that's it. So, yeah, I mean, you'll see that stuff with the Mr. Beast stuff.
Yep. But he's Mr. Beast, and he has a consistency.
Yeah, that name recognition. Yeah.
People are expecting that same look on every single thumbnail that he does.
Right.
Thumbnails, I use a website called Canva. And anybody else in the chat using Canva? Tim, have you heard of Canva?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Very, very, very powerful background remover, text, photos, resize. You can animate some of it. So I use Canva to also push out.
I have to look at that.
Promotion. Yeah, I use it for promotional little snippets on Facebook, now on sale or something, I don't know, and show a Gecko. Canva's really cool. You can do the yearly subscription. It has a few more features, and I think it's like $100, so it's not terrible. But the free version, again, 20% more for the paid version. The free version is a good product. I'm just looking for anybody else. Anybody else use or heard of Canva? Great tool. What does Frank say? Mr. Beast thumbnails flying a car over the Empire State Building. That rains money.
He's a North Carolina guy, man. He needs to call
Is he really?
me. Yeah, he's a North Carolina boy.
So
my
my number one
put me
tip
on his channel, give me about 10 million subs.
Well, I was going to say I didn't really have any criticism for your channel or your video, so I'm going to throw that one out. You need to collab with Mr. Beast, then, buddy.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Wow.
Well, it was kind of funny too, because like when this last video got a lot of attention because of the topic. It's such an emotionally charged topic for so many people, and Ruth said something. She was talking with her girls at work, and one of them said, "Yeah, he's going to get a big head." And I kind of explained to her that I go the exact opposite direction. The bigger the channel gets, the more exposure there is, the more people sees it. I get less arrogant and more humble because the exposure's out there, and there's more people, and there's more availability of opportunity to make a fool out of yourself if you don't do the right thing. So that's kind of where I go. The more I know something's getting attention, it's like, okay, you gotta make sure you get everything wired tight. So.
I hear this all the time, and I've experienced this where, not that I'm popular or have big time videos or the channel's exploding, but as you grow, there are certain expectations that you put upon yourself that's unfair and not realistic. Yeah. So you have a video that takes off, 1,000 views, 5,000 views. I hit it. Okay, my next video has to be 5,000. Oh, it was only 300 views.
Yeah,
I suck at this. I don't know anything about it. So you put those unfair expectations.
The very next video I put out could get nothing but 200 views or something like that, and everybody's like, "Okay, yeah, we got the point. We get it. Go away." Yeah.
which gets
So,
that.
and you can't, you can never, I don't care who you are, you can never get to the point where if somebody challenges you on something where you're saying, well, I got 1 million subscribers and I know what I'm talking about.
No,
You just
no,
can't do it,
no.
because all of us at some point are going to be wrong.
Yep.
And we've just all got to maintain it. Now, I will, unless somebody, if I say something and there's evidence that I can objectively show where this is true, I will fight tooth and nail. And somebody's got to come to me with evidence to prove that it's wrong. Opinions, you know what they say about those, but the second somebody comes up and says, okay, well, here's this, and this is why you're wrong, I'll go, you're right. I just changed my view. You've shown me I was wrong. Now I can move forward and I learned something, and I think that's the way everybody should do it.
Everybody should do it that way. The group name that I created for Facebook is called, I don't know, something like YouTube S/M Reptile and Invert YouTube creators. And somebody said, nah, I'm not too much into the S&M. Sorry, I'm not joining. And it was like, what the heck did I just do? So I changed it right away. So I'm open-minded. Awesome. I can change things.
Well, I mean, you got to be open-minded to start an S&M channel, man.
Oh.
And on that note, folks, Tim, I want to thank you. I was hoping for a couple more people, but everybody has lives and everybody has things going on. Steak and milkshakes. Oh, S&M, steak and milkshakes.
Yeah.
Now I'm really hungry. I'm hungry.
There you go.
I want ice cream right now.
I want to thank, sorry, I divert so quick, squirrel, and I'm off. Thank you very much for being here tonight. The Soul Survivor. We're going to keep this growing. We're going to keep it moving forward. Again, not all the notes, but a lot of the key points here are going right into that collab YouTube creator page on Facebook. We have the list of the creators in there. I think we have 25 or so. If you have a channel that you want us to subscribe to and watch, send me the information and I'll put it in that spreadsheet. And we're going to keep this project going every 2 weeks, Thursday night. Cool. And we're going to keep growing and hopefully get the same participation and great chats and hopefully good information to everybody that wants to improve their videos, improve their channel.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because like I said, I've got a lot of different creators in the reptile community, that I talk with, interact with, and stuff like that would, and this is the kind of forum that, benefits everybody. So
share the word and let's get more people in here, because there are no, perfect. This whole thing is not black and white. There's a lot of gray areas. So
every other Thursday,
right?
Every other Thursday, Nanette. So next week Thursday.
Well, no,
not next week, man. Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone for coming. We'll see you next 2 weeks from now.
Absolutely. You guys have a good weekend. Be safe.
Good night.
Stay between the trees and don't hit any white lights.
That's a tip that's going in the notes. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
We'll see you.